Hello all, welcome back to the channel. What a load of bull. I think episode 53, and this is going to be part 10 of the manual swap series. I'm now back to work. My summer holiday's over, so I can only do jobs in the evenings, lunchtimes or first thing. So I'm here on my lunch break. At the end of the last video we jerry-rigged some wires at the TCM end in order to get a start signal. What I want to do today is to work out the logic of these two sensors, or switches. One of them's for reverse, one of them's for neutral, and then I'm hoping I can use some of the old harness to send that signal up. So when I say I want to check the logic, I'm looking to see whether these are normally open or normally closed switches, meaning that when they are in their actuated state or in their rested state, is the circuit open or closed. We need to give 12 volts to the IPDM for the starter signal, so I'm hoping that one of these will be normally closed when in neutral and then normally closed when in reverse as well. So I will do a quick continuity check between the pins in there, okay, and then I'll be able to tell, because depending on what gear I'm in, whether I'm in neutral or reverse, etc. So just looking underneath, this was weeping a little bit. We didn't actually do that up tight, so that's now tight. That has weeped a tiny bit. A little bit of moisture over here, hoping that that's from where we've bled it. I will try the clutch in a moment just to make sure that's still good, and I will nip that up as well. I've got the manual for the auto trans. I'm hoping that I can utilise something on this cable because this one reaches, but it might be that we need to use these and extend it. I do have another harness at home, so it might be that we use that one if we can reach to where it plugs in. If not, we will carry on and just adulter this one and chop some bits out. So I'm hoping I've got 12 volts on this one, so then we can use that to feed it into the neutral switch and then send that up and change that jerry rig. I'm also hoping we've got a ground, because I think the reverse switch wants a ground rather than a live. So that's what I'm planning to do this lunchtime. Once I've worked a few things out, I will report back. So when we're checking continuity, I've got quite a fancy fluke meter here, but we're looking for something that looks like sound, and then when you put your probes together you should hear a beep. This is often referred to as a beep test. And if I stop fumbling my leads, I'll show you. So I know that I've got continuity, my leads are working. So now I'm just going to check those pins and see what I go on. I'm in neutral now, so hopefully one of these will be normally closed. Okay, so that's good news. This one, which is the black one, hard to see with this light, but this one's black, this one's grey. This one is normally closed currently, so I'm just going to pop it into gear and then hopefully that will open up and I won't have continuity through it. I'm afraid I don't have enough hands to do that test, and now that we're back on normal time, Harvey's not here either, so I don't have another pair of hands. So take my word, I got continuity when testing those two pins. I'm just going to pop it into gear and then I'll check again. Okay, that's excellent. So now that that's in gear, this one is now open circuit, meaning that it is normally closed, which is exactly what we want for the neutral switch. I'm now going to rinse and repeat and try this one. This one's been open so far, but I want it to be closed when it's in reverse. So I'm just going to prove that it's open now while we're in third, then pop it in reverse and I'll test it again. Okay, that's excellent. So grey one, this one, is open in every gear apart from reverse, and then it's closed. So that's really, really good. What I want to do now is turn the ignition on. Well, I'm going to check the manual actually, but one of these is a 12 volt feed, but I don't know whether that's not going to be there because the TCM's disconnected. So I'm just going to turn the ignition on, or I'm going to look at the manual, work out where this 12 volt should be, then turn the ignition on, and hopefully it's on this nice long one, because that gives us plenty of room to play with and I don't have to do any extra extending or anything like that. But either way we can work it out. Okay, so consulting the manual for the transmission, I don't think there's going to be a 12 volt supply here, unfortunately, and that's the longer dangly one. I think it's on this one here. So I'm just going to check that. F27, that's the long one. So F27 is green. It's everything from the TCM, so we can probably assume that this has been this isn't going to be live because it's unplugged at the TCM end. Now I could rejig things and make the most of these anyway, and I might just do that because that's the longer harness, and then I can cut and shut at the TCM end. This part here is actually in the trans, and then these are going off to marry up with those other cables. So I'm just going to go through. We think that that is that one. I could really do the ground as well, but none of these look like they go to ground, so might have to again repurpose something that we don't need and then turn that into a ground at the TCM end, because we could repurpose any one of these cables because they're not going to be used. So I'm just going to confirm that that 12 volt is here, which is this one here, ignition voltage. It does say from TCM, so again that might not even work, but not the end of the world. We can rejig everything. Today is just about testing to see what we've got here. So now that I'm testing voltage, I've got my multimeter set to volts DC. DC is the line with the dashes. AC has the sine wave there, just so that you know. Okay, so everything in the vehicle pretty much is going to be DC apart from wheel speed sensors or alternators. So I'm in there and I'm going to check and confirm whether we've got 12 volts or not. I'm hoping that the 12 volt supply doesn't come from the TCM, that it comes from another source, and then therefore it will still be live without the TCM in there. So we'll see. Okay, so it does seem that this is dead. Not sure I've got great ground, so my lunch break's just finished, so I'm going to come back a bit later on and make a better ground to do the testing with. But that's fine. That means that we're not reliant on that anyway, and then we can make the most of this long one and just kind of repin it at the TCM end so that these are now live for what we want. We should be able to create a live, a ground, a reverse, and a neutral signal as well. Just had a look. This harness disappears up into the engine bay, so I don't know whether, or I don't know, we can do anything, but I don't know whether I can be bothered to manipulate the other one, or whether we'll just make this work with what we've got right here. So it's good though, at least we know that with the TCM unplugged all of this is dead, so I was worried that we might have loads of signals floating around. So yeah, that is good news. Only thing I'm a little bit worried about, and we'll learn more about it as we go on, is the vehicle speed signal. I'm just a little bit worried that I'm not going to have any vehicle speed, but we can work that out. We've got the ECU master that picks up speed, so yeah, not the end of the world. I'm going to go back and carry on with marking and admin and stuff, because that's what I do in my day job, but I'll report back later on, and we'll confirm all of this evening, and maybe we'll do a bit of jerry rigging just to make that work. So yeah, cool, I'll catch you in a bit. Okay, so I've just gone through, that's a bit better, I've just gone through every pin here with the ignition on, and none of them are a 12 volt live. A little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Did find that one of these is a 5 volt, so that might be useful for in the future if we're running any kind of sensors down here. But in the meantime, we don't have 12 volt on the long one that we wanted. The way that I've done this is I've connected a lead to the battery, so I've got a decent ground, and then I'm just going through checking each pin one at a time to see whether it's 12 volts or not. So yeah, that didn't confirm what we wanted it to, but not the end of the world. Next thing I'm going to do now is to jump back to where the TCM is and try and work out what we need to make the reverse light work. So do we need to ground it, or do we need to give it 12 volts? If we need to ground it, we need to think about creating a ground into here. If it needs 12 volts, that's easy. We can just split the 12 volt that we're going to send down here between both of the switches. So I'm just going to jump into that corner of the car and do that, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I think I'll probably call it a day for today, because I've been marking assignments all day and I'm pretty tired, but I just want to get my head around these bits, and then I think I'll come in first thing tomorrow to actually do the connections and stuff. Okay, so I found the pin. It's this reverse relay, which is pin 41, and that's an output from the TCM. Okay, we did look at this very early on in the project, but it's been a little while since then. So I now need to find figure 27. So bear with me, I'll just find that one, then we'll look at it. I'm pretty sure we need to add a ground to this to make it work. So we'll try that first, because that's always the safer option. And if that doesn't work, we'll put 12 volts onto it, and then we'll know for sure then. Okay, so here is figure 27. We've got our reverse relay, pin 41, and if we follow that up, we end up at a relay. Okay, so it's not clear on the relay here. It's not using standard numbers for relay pins, alright, but if we do a bit of a wire trace, we should be able to work out whether it's ground or not. So if we look on the other side, port 2 and 5, these are yellow and red. Follow these back. Ooh, these come to a junction center, and then if we follow that back as well, that goes to ignition live. Alright, so I'm assuming that this half is live, this half is looking for ground. So in theory, if I link pins 41 to pin 46, that should turn on the reverse lamp. If it does, absolutely amazing. Plus it means that we've got a ground up here as well, so that means we've got a choice of them by the looks of it. That means that rejigging this area will become a lot easier. So tonight what I'll do is I'll just go through connector 27, which is the long one, and then repurpose these. So I'll probably do 12 volts, ground, reverse signal, neutral signal. So I'm just going to prove that now, and like I said, I'm going to bridge or move my link lead, which is currently making the starter motor work, or the starter system. But yeah, pin 41 to pin 46 should close down that reverse, and then it should think it's in reverse, and we should get the reverse lamp and maybe even the screen. This is a little bit temperamental, the screen, so sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's not. It's currently not happy, it's beeping, but yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but it is handy when it works. Awesome, and that worked. So while I was putting in that jumper wire, something in there was beeping, and then I've just come back to check, and the reverse lights are on. So that's really good. I'm going to call it a day now, because like I said, it's been a long one. I'm going to come in nice and early tomorrow though, and I'm going to do some cutting and shutting of the harness, and then get those signals right down to the gearbox. Other things that we need to do, I need to put in the other two riv nuts for the shifter gator. So we only got the two in. Once those are in, then I can start reassembling everything in here. I don't really want to do any drilling with an interior in, but it wouldn't be the end of the world, I guess. So yeah, the next job then is going to be sorting out the wiring, and then the reassembly of interior and trim and stuff like that. So I'm going to call it a day for now, and I'll be back in the morning and I'll show you what I'm doing with some of the wiring. Alright, good morning guys, it's Tuesday, it's 7:30 in the morning, or thereabouts. I've got an hour before I need to be in the office. Been pondering this overnight and doing a bit of thinking and research and stuff like that. If you remember, we're trying to repurpose the loom end of this connector, because that's the long one which reaches the switches that we need. So I'm going to repurpose a 12 volt that we used initially for that relay, and I'm planning to do a join here to pin 17, and then that will send 12 volts down that connector, and then we'll need to come back up on, excuse me, come back on this one if I can find it, and then that's gonna go and join onto the starter relay. So that'll be the neutral switch allowing us to start. What I'm going to do, just to make sure before I cut any wires, I'm going to do a continuity check like we did yesterday. Hopefully my leads are long enough. If not, I have to jerry rig an extension. But essentially I'll find pin 17 on there, which is the one that I want, which is the Pt.10 sensor, green and red. I'll put a probe in it. I'll go down under the car with the other end of the multimeter and confirm continuity on that wire that I want down there. Okay, so I've confirmed all the wires I need now. I'm going to join these two. So that's my 12 volt, and then that goes to pin 1 of that connector downstairs. That's pin 2 of the connector downstairs, so that will come back up. And then that's the one that we were messing with last week to make it start. That goes to the starter relay. So I'm going to strip, terminate, heat shrink label, do the same with that one, then move on to the reverse switch. It's now 5 to 8, so we're doing well. So I'm using this style of crimp, and then I'm just chopping off one of the ends. I like these. I could have used the U-shaped ones, but these have a bit of cable retention on the back, so that's going to be a bit better. And then what I'll do is I'll slot some heat shrink onto it, and then once I've got them all done, I'll label them as I go, and then I'll take them up so they're all in their own little bunch, and then easy to troubleshoot should we have any problems, but we're not going to, are we? Coolio. Got those done. So I did one of that style, small bit heat shrink, big bit heat shrink, and now I'm going to jump underneath and put a connector on the other end of that pair. Then I'm going to come back and fathom the reverse stuff. It's now 5 to 8. Hopefully I can get the connector on the other end, and then we can do the reverse over lunch and things. Do need to rewrite the to-do list because I'm a little bit lost on that one. But yeah, I'll do that a bit later. I think this is what's in my head at the moment, so this is what I want to get sorted. Right, frustratingly, I've only got this end of these ones. I was going to put 2 of these in. I've got one of the male and female end. So I think what I'll do, I've got a load of these ones, so I'm going to use these instead. I'll do 1, 2, leave 2 gaps, and then do the other ones. So I'll get the neutral one on first, and that will be on pins 1 and 2. Pins 1 and 2. It is on there. You might be able to just make it out. So I'm going to get those crimped and terminated now. So when you're doing this type of connector, you need to put a weather seal on. I like to put it on before I strip it, just because it's easier to poke one thing through rather than lots of little strands. Now I'm going to strip back probably 3 to 4 mil and then get that crimp on there. I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Okay, all done. So the inner bit, we crimp the cable to the crimp, then we slide on the weather seal, and then we crimp the round bit around that. Then it's ready to go into the connector, keeping this on pin 1, this on pin 2. Okay, got the first one on. I used the wrong terminals originally, so just had to redo that one. But pins 1 and 2 for the neutral switch are there. I'll come back at lunch and I'll repeat the process for the reverse switch, confirm the wires, and I'll put those onto 5 and 6. So I will see you later on. Have a good day. Okay, I'm on my lunch break now. We got the first one done. So now I'm looking to find this one here, what will be pin 3 downstairs, and then I'm going to join that one to ground, and then this one I need to find, and then that will be joined to the reverse lamp. So we're looking for high, low, reverse clutch solenoid. So that will be high, low, reverse solenoid. So we're looking for a red and a blue. I've already plugged, sorry, we're looking for that one, red and blue. I've already plugged the other end of the multimeter in, so I'll find pin 11, red, blue, give that a quick test. And then I'll put that onto ground, which will probably be pin 5. So let's put that in there, G and D. And then our next one will be going to the reverse relay. So we'll find that in a minute. I'll just do a quick continuity check to make sure I've got the right wire before cutting it. Okay, the next one I'm repurposing is direct clutch solenoid, and that's pin 21, which is green. I have found that one and I was connected, but it's come out, so I'll pop that in and then just pop underneath the car and check that that's the right one before I cut it. But so far all the ones I've done have been correct, but best be safe before cutting. Okay, that was the right one, so I've cut the wire. Just something I hadn't mentioned before, but if ever I'm cutting out of a terminal block, now chances are I'll never use this again, but if I did need to, I've left plenty of length here to re-terminate it. If I cut it off down there, then I'd have needed a new pin, but if I needed to, I've got plenty of tail left back there to rejoin that one. So now I just need to find pin 41, which is red and blue. That's on the grey connector, and that is for the reverse relay. We've proven that one already, so I'm just going to find it and join the two together like I have done so far. Alright, that's all done. I put them in their own little loom, take that all up, that'll be fine. Eventually I'll remove the TCM, but I'm not going to bother doing that today. That is now happy. It's happy with it disconnected. So my lunch break's over now, so I'm going to head back to work, do some marking and all that jazz, and then I'll be back at 5 o'clock to do the other end of those, and then that's something major off of the to-do list. Okay, done relatively well. I got this end done, and these fuckers have been tricky. I thought it was going to reach, but that one's going to be a bit tight. I could put a crimp in and then fill that with stuff, but I don't really want to do that. The insulation has broken down. I tried to repair this one. Sorry, there we go. I tried to repair that one. Thought I had, just done a bit of tweaking and the sheathing's pulling off. So I think I'm actually going to order 2 new switches. I will then extend them, get them right, and then fit them and then connect them, I think. So that's a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. And also this thing's been a bit of a twat getting the retainer lock back in. It's about 5:30 now. I think I've done enough today, so I'm going to head on. I'm going to get some of these 2 ordered, and then I'll come in the morning and I'm going to write a new to-do list to really have a think about what we got to do. Another thing I'm going to do is swap over these breathers, because they're not quite long enough and we need to connect this one in as well. So I'm going to sacrifice the old dipstick. Did put it up for sale, but no one wanted it, and it's the dipstick on the old gearbox, which has the equivalent one of those but for 3. And yeah, I'll take the hoses off the other gearbox. That should give me a bit more length, because I think that's got to sit, excuse the light, behind there. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day for now, get those ordered, and I'll be back in the morning. Right, morning all, welcome back. It's now Wednesday, it's early in the morning, about 7:30. First thing I'm going to do is attempt to offer up this breather pipe. I had thought that it mounted over here, but I've just clocked that it kind of mounts here, which isn't what I wanted. So I'll probably use a combination of these rubbers and the hoses that are on there. If you remember, we want to try and mount the breather over here. Now, it might be that these are long enough, I don't know, we'll see. Also made a bit of an error with the connectors that we were doing last night, in that all well and good, where are we? All well and good wiring in that four-way while it's in there, but if I ever needed to get out any of the switches, that wouldn't work. So I'm going to rethink that. I'm going to have a rummage, see whether I've got any connectors I can repurpose, because I didn't have enough of what I wanted to do that. And I've ordered a new reverse switch and neutral switch, but I might take these out and repair them, just so these jobs are done. I'm also going to have a look at the whiteboard and just think about all the other little jobs that I need to do. So I'll do you an update on that in just a sec. Okay, so just cleared off all the old junk. I think this is where I'm at now. Main job this week was the gearbox wiring. I've done everything at the TCM end now. That's what we did yesterday. This is a little bit on hold because of those connectors. Hopefully I can get these switches out and we can jerry rig something. Need to do a handbrake wire because obviously the foot brake's not there now and that's moved. Planning to do that at lunchtime today. LPG wires as well because I had to cut the switch, so that needs doing. Need to drill 2 holes so that I can finalise the shifter gator, sorry. Bleed the brakes at some point. Need to put the interior in and need to weigh it when intended as well. So I'm going to start with that breather and trying to get those switches out. I'm also going to write on the gearbox which is neutral, which is reverse, because I keep forgetting. So yeah. Okay, so I've labelled that so to remind me. The rear one is neutral, that's black. The front one is grey, that's reverse. It's a 19mm. I can't quite get a spanner in there to do it. I have got some stubby spanners in the car, so I will grab them over lunch. I think what I'm going to do now is re-terminate this one into 2 pairs, and then I can always put a connector to put a jumper wire on there to at least have neutral so that we can start it in the meantime. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to rethink those a bit later. Breather pipe wise. Okay, so probably hard to see, but this was the old handbrake wire. I've just joined it, run it along the tunnel, and then that's ready to go onto the handbrake. So I'm going to do that at lunch. I need to get back to the office now. I gave up underneath and I've jerry-rigged it so that it always thinks it's in neutral, and at least that will allow me to let it start when I need it to. So yeah, better go and do the day job. I'll be back here at lunch. Right, morning all. We're back here again. It's Thursday today. I've got in a bit early. I've been faffing a little bit. It's 7:20. My goal for today is to get the last 2 riv nuts in for the shifter gator, which is something Harvey and I gave up on the other day. I wanted to do it yesterday, but I'd misplaced my other one of these. I've been trying to source a right angle drill, which might have been a bit of a lower profile, but struggled with that. I have broken some drill bits deliberately, so I've made some stubby bits. I've tested that. That's an 8.8. I need a 9mm hole. It wiggles a bit. It should work out. So I'm going to do some pilot holes first with the gator in place, then I'll move it out the way and do the bigger holes. Then I can get the riv nuts in, then I can start reassembling the interior. So today I think is going to be a really long day. Yesterday I couldn't stay late because I needed to go and pick up this from Screwfix. So yeah, I want the interior in today. Let's go. So far that's worked surprisingly well. So I'm just going to loosen these off now, twist it a little bit. Oh sorry, that's right in the way. Loosen those ones now, twist it a little bit, then do the bigger hole, put the riv nuts in, and we're winning. So really pleased with that. Well, that was a bit of a mission. I have got a hole. Did walk a little bit a couple of times, but I'm not too worried about that. And I got one on the other side as well. So now I'm going to struggle and faff to get the riv nut gun in, and then it is a case of reassembling. This is like the last thing, I feel like. So yeah, doing well. Well, I managed to crimp it in, but I'm struggling to get the riv nut gun out now, but I thought it'd be fiddly. Even these ones are hard to get it undone, so it might take me a little while, but at least I made the hole big enough to open it up a little bit, and it all seems to have crimped well, so hopefully they all line up. So yeah, cool. Got both of those in. That was a pain. I had to use these vice grips to get in there to undo it, but that's fine. So now I'm just going to have a quick hoover again. I've been pretty good at doing that while I go, but make sure it's all good, and then get that gator screwed down. Then I can start with the ducting back here. Now the good news is, we originally thought that we were going to have to sacrifice the heat or the air going to the rear, but it's looking like we might actually be able to keep that. I think there's enough room here now for the splitter. If there's not, then I'm just going to leave that part for now, but still assemble everything else. There's lots of like little bits of snagging I can do when I get this home, but I'm really on the time crunch to get this out of the workshop here, because this space is needed from September onwards. So my goal is to drive it away Thursday next week at the latest. So I can get 3 out of the 4 bolts in. The one in the far corner seems a little bit off. That's fine. Just going to use the trusty step bit to open out each corner a little bit more, and then that should work fine. Boom! What a great start to the day. The shifter gator is now in. One of the rib nuts ripped out at the back, so I had to put another one. It was in a bit janky anyway, so that's a lot better. Got full movement here, which is excellent. So come lunchtime, I'm going to start, if I can at lunch, if not after work, I will start the big reassembly. Oh, right, have a good day all. I'll see you later. Hi, we're back. We're doing the evening shift, 5:10 on Thursday. Like I said earlier, today's the day when I can actually get quite a lot of stuff done. First thing I'm going to do is to try and get this duct back in. I'll probably have to remove this metal bracket that did attach to somewhere here, but we had to delete that bit of plastic. This takes, I'm not sure whether it's hot or cold air, but it grabs it from that duct there and then splits it left to right over the tunnel. So yeah, I'm going to try and get that one in. Once I've got that one in, then I'm going to finalise the bolts on here, because although they're in, they're not tight and none of the safety pins are in. Once I've got that done, I'm going to get out all the cardboard, all the tools, have a really good hoover, get the floor ducting in, and then start putting the carpet back in and all the bits of trim and stuff like that. So I'll report back in a little bit. I appreciate this week's, or this episode's been quite bitty, but that's really because I'm doing snagging. I'm trying to show you as much as what I'm doing as possible, but I do realise that it might not be all that exciting, but I just want you to see what's involved in a stupid project like this. Wish me luck. Okay, got the ducting in. I couldn't get it in there with tape and everything. I think it's going to be okay once we get the other bits on. I've just got these all tight and got some safety pins in them as well. So that feels really nice now. So I'm going to have a bit of a clear up, get rid of the cardboard, get the hoover in, really good, tidy, get the floor ducting in, then the carpets, then the trim, and then last of all the seats. Whether I get that far tonight, we'll try, but doing really well. Oh yeah, starting to look like a car again. That's all the trim, the carpet in now. All the wiring connected under the driver, under the steering wheel. I'm now going to get the seats in. Right, I'm going to call it a night there. It's 20 to 8 now. I'm fucked. Excuse my language. Really pleased with the achievements tonight though. I had wanted to get this all in, and deep down I didn't know whether I would, so that's good. So front seat tomorrow, big tidy up, and then we can do the gearbox switches next week after they've arrived, and then drive it home. So yeah, really pleased. And here we are again. 7:15 Friday morning. This is going to be the last segment of this video because it's the weekend, and I'm going to get the seat in this morning, and then that's all the last major bits. Centre console I might leave out just while I'm driving home, not sure yet. But yeah, not going home today, it'll be next week, and I want to do some test drives around the college next week sometime as well. I wouldn't even be able to drive it out at the moment. The Clio is off racing this weekend at Gerston Down. I'm doing a hill climb there. Unfortunately, the catering won't be at Castle Combe on Monday as we had planned, but I'm still going to go and race anyway. So I'm going to have a little bit of a tidy. I want to take some stuff home with me today because yeah, it's getting a bit crowded here. But yeah, once I got the seat in, I'll let you know. And I'm going to have another go at that one because I was getting a bit frustrated yesterday and I'm not entirely happy with it. So yeah, I'll report back in a bit. Boom. I'm in the driver's seat. Everything feels really good. I was worried this might all seem a bit too low, but I think it's just right. I've cut and shut this a little bit. I've chopped out the ashtray because that one's never going to fit. This switch gear and stuff is a little bit in, or this bracket here is a bit in the way of all of that. So not today because I need to start loading the other car, but I'm probably going to cut out parts of this to give clearance here because I would quite like this to snap back in there, and then I've still got my hazards and my synchro button. So synchro button is working. Just something which I have noticed is the all-wheel drive light is staying on. So it's clearly not happy about something, but I'm not sure what at the moment. So I haven't got my laptop with me, but I will plug in at some point to try and work that out, probably next week now. So, oh, terrible hair. I'm going to call it there. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. It hasn't been that busy a week because I've been doing the day job during the days, but obviously I've been doing lots of long days to get it all done. But as you can see, we're looking like a car. Oh! So let's get the key out because that's annoying. That's going to be the end of this video. I'll get it all edited over the weekend and uploaded, and then I'll be picking up next week to do the gearbox connectors, cross brace, bleed the brakes, drive shaft if that arrives in time, that kind of stuff. And I'll make this fit a little bit better, or what I might do is, I'm going to make this fit a little bit better, or what I might do is remount those or something, I don't know, but I think that looks good snapped into there. And then we'll do something clever back here. But yeah, handbrake feels good. I'm sure I'll be able to give that a good yeet if I need to. It's the bank holiday weekend here in the UK, so I hope you will have a good one. I hope all my friends all over the world are also having a good weekend as well. And I will pick you up next week. Thanks for watching all. Cheers.